Hi there, my name is Monique, and today we're going to talk about reading for your toddlers and your preschoolers. So you might be thinking that's way too early, or you might even say that it's inappropriate to teach your toddlers and your preschoolers how to read. But what we're going to talk about today are pre-reading skills, and these skills are actually super important in helping our children to become successful readers later on. It's important that we practice these pre-reading skills because later on when they're learning how to read, we want it to be an experience that they enjoy. We want it to be not so stressful for them so that they would want to keep on doing it. And the way to de-stress this formal education of learning how to read is to really get them into the habit of practicing their pre-reading skills. So how do we help our toddlers or preschoolers strengthen these pre-reading skills? Now, the things that I'm going to talk to you about today are things that I've practiced as a mom to 3 of my kids, and I'm still doing with my preschooler now, Raphael. And I also use these strategies as an early childhood educator. I worked for the most part with toddlers with 1.5-year-olds to 2.5-year-olds, and we would practice their pre-reading skills a lot. I would employ these strategies, and it really led to them being successful in reading as early as 3.5 and 4. Number 1 is to cultivate an interest in print. And we do this by consistently reading aloud to our preschoolers, to our toddlers, even to our babies. So choose books that are interesting to your children, even allow them to make the choice as to what they want to read, and make it consistent. Do it as regularly as you can and make it part of your routine. Number 2 is to strengthen their narrative skills. So the way that our children are able to express things to us, to be able to tell stories to us. And we do this by encouraging them to retell stories. So for example, you read a book to them. You can maybe ask them questions. After you've read the story, ask them if they can tell the story back to you, or maybe they went to grandma's house for the weekend. Ask them to tell you what happened at grandma's house. So books with very little words, a lot of pictures, or even picture books with no words are really great tools for this as well. So what I do with my 3-year-old is I actually give him a book and I ask him to tell me the story. And he's well aware that he can't read. So he would say, "But Mommy, I don't know the words, or I can't read." And I would say, and I would encourage him to just tell me what you see, like describe the pictures to me. And this will allow our children to understand that books, pictures, words mean something, and that's something that they can communicate to others. Other ways that we strengthen the narrative skills without the use of books is to play pretend with our children. So for example, they're in their play kitchen or they're building towers with their blocks. Ask them a question about their play, or even join in on the play and get them to talk to you about what's happening or what's going on in their play. Number 3 is print awareness. So really helping our children understand that the letters, the words that we see in books and billboards and posters have a function, have a purpose, and that is for us to read them. And we do this by pointing out the words in books that we read to them. So as we're doing our bedtime reading, we track the words with our fingers and show them that as we move from one word to another, that we're saying something else. And it's also great to do this just in your daily routines, when you go outside and you see posters, when you're picking up the grocery, or you're at home and you show them the box of cereal, you can point out the letters to them and even read the words to them. And this will help them understand that print has a purpose and it has function. Number 4 is to increase their vocabulary and keep adding to it. And again, if you're using books, this is when you read words with animated voices. So for example, there's a big giant, then they understand from the voicing that you use that the word big, they see the print, they hear the word said aloud that the word big means big. Or when it's small, then they sort of have a better idea of what the word small means when you're using animated voices, or when you're expressing sadness as you read books, when you're expressing happiness or being excited when you read books, then they understand that what's going on in the story or what you're reading has this specific emotion. Number 5 is helping our children with their phonological awareness. So them understanding that words are made up of sounds and letters have their own sounds. And when you put them all together, it creates a word. So we help our children with their phonological awareness by just being silly with them. So doing riddles and rhymes, singing songs together, and just the practice of them singing with you or spewing out words that they might not understand or might not even make sense at times. If it's a riddle, if it's a funny rhyme, if it's a joke even, will really help them be able to articulate the sounds and really also understand in the long run that words are made up of these different sounds. And number 6 is letter knowledge. So our children understanding that letters are different from each other, that these formations that they see have a meaning. It has a corresponding sound. Is crucial to them being able to read later on. And we help our toddlers and our preschoolers with letter knowledge through games, through reading books again, pointing out print, songs even. There's one that I do with my son now because we're learning letter sounds, and this is what I've done also with my 8-year-old and my 7-year-old girls when they were younger, and it's been really effective to help them remember because it's quick and easy. So for example, I would point out the letter A and I would say, "What letter is this?" And he would say A, and I would say, "What is the sound of letter A?" Ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. And then we would talk about words that begin with the letter A. It's also just, making it fun for them to understand that E looks different from the letter F, forming letters with sticks even. So just incorporating this in their play and their everyday activities. We go for a walk and we point out the letters that we see on the floor or on billboards, and I ask my son what letter it is, what letter sounds it makes, and really help our children understand that letters are everywhere. It's all around them. It's something that they experience or interact with every day, and it's not something to be stressed about. So there you have it. Pre-reading skills that are crucial in helping our children have a more successful time reading later on. So do remember to always think about readiness and interest. If our children are pointing out books about construction sites, then maybe choose books about building and construction. If our children are pointing out, letters and billboards and posters, then maybe it's time for us to introduce them to letter sounds or to letter formations because they're showing an interest in it. So thank you again for joining me today. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to Monique's Home. I will also see you on Instagram at Monique's Home for more learning, more child guidance strategies. I will see you again on this channel, but till then, remember to make every day your own version of extraordinary.